score? Give it to us. 35-7, isn't that correct? I believe it is what they indicate. Penalty on the play. He's going to mark the ball back, and the Roos will have to now operate on their own 6-yard line. So that was a costly penalty on the kickoff.
As so often is the case, it was a clipping penalty, and that definitely moves Killeen back into their own territory.
Billy Spiller hands off right up the middle to Dion Marion. And Dion is stopped cold by John Smith, a 265-pound junior. And the second half is beginning just like the first half did. Both teams have moved the football well the first 2 quarters, and the result has been a 14-11 contest. Killeen holding on.
You know, we still see a consistent south wind blowing, and Killeen is facing into a fairly stiff breeze.
Second down. Spiller looking for running room. Bob Weaves finds a man open. Goes down the sideline. It's a foot race. Oh my. Billy Spiller in a foot race with Steve Roloff. Roloff finally drags him down, and that's what makes Billy Spiller such a dangerous quarterback. He can run, he can pass.
He's a darter and a dasher. He was a part, as we commented earlier, he's a part of the Killeen's state championship sprint relay team, and once he finds the opening, he is able to get into it and turn on that burst of sprinter speed that he has, and now we see Killeen in excellent field position.
Picked up over 35 yards. They'll mark the ball at their own 44-yard line where they have a first down. Spiller, handoff. Dion Marion looking for room, can't find any. Richard Barone leading the charge for the Bobcats, and they'll take a loss on the play. Perhaps a loss of 2. No, they mark it on just outside the 40-yard line, and that brings up a second down and 13 yards to go. As we told you before, Odessa Permian beating Midland Lee 30-7 in a semifinal matchup this afternoon. Rush that time on Spiller. He escapes, pumps, fakes, dodges, weaves, going down the right sideline, escapes 3 men, and they finally bring him down. John Smith trying desperately to haul him down and finally does.
And we do have a flag on the play, and referee Gene Smith signals clipping, so that's going to move the Roos back yet again. It'll be their second penalty on this possession. Second clipping penalty on this possession.
We have seen both quarterbacks for their respective teams, when they are trapped and flushed from the pocket, exhibit some really outstanding running in the open field. They're quick, they're fast, and have the ability to drive the defensive unit completely crazy. It's got to be a defensive coordinator to drive defense, those two. They're going to mark the ball all the way back to the 19-yard line. What a costly penalty for the Killeen Kangaroos. And now they face a 2nd and 23. During this third quarter of play, they're driving toward the south end zone, and they are driving into, Ted, a very strong breeze. Spiller will take the direct snap, and it's a design play keeper from the very beginning. Oh, what a running room he's got. He's all the way up to the 30, 45-yard line before Jason Sanders brings him down. That was run all the way.
Again, we see Killeen faced with long yardage situation, and it doesn't faze them a bit. They stay right with their same type of offense. They have a lot of confidence in their offense, and they have the confidence that Billy Spiller can get open on the run, that he can find the open receiver on the pass. So I think we're going to see, even though they're going into the wind, they're going to continue to work the same run-pass offense.
Third down and 9. They face the 2nd and 23. It's now 3rd and 9. Direct snap again. Spiller looking to pass, throws out to his left. Incomplete to Charles West. Close enough that time. on the defensive unit by Ben Montgomery. And the Bobcats hold and will force the Kangaroos to punt.
Charles West was injured on that play, that incomplete pass. The trainers are helping him to the sideline, and we'll try to get a medical report on Charles West. Certainly a valuable part of Killeen's offense and defense.
Christopher Martinez back to punt for the Kangaroos. He'll be punting from about his own 32-yard line. Damon Carroll deep. Flat kick, bobble, picked up, and immediately down. Ryan King tried to run before he caught the football, and he nearly fumbled it.
Christopher Martinez is averaging 32.3 yards per punt. That was a very uncharacteristically low punt. However, he was kicking into a very strong breeze, wind actually, trying to keep it low. And as a result, Ryan King received the short punt, but he did bobble it, allowing Killeen coverage to get down on him.
They mark the ball at the 37-yard line of the Bobcats. Put a man in motion, direct snap, Shea Morantz. He pump fakes once, looks for a man, fires, complete to Damon Carroll. Damon Carroll had a little running room, and boy, did he thread the needle that time. Deion Marion in on the tackle, but not before Shea Morantz and company have the ball on the 45-yard line of Killeen.
Very good stop by Deion Marion. He was a very solid tackle, very good reception, and certainly we've got to credit both the offense and defense for fine plays in.
On the Killeen 45 as Shea Morantz drops back, looks for receivers deep, can't find him, has all day, finally finds somebody on the left sideline, Marcus Bibbs, but it goes in and out of his hands as Charles West, who was injured just 2 plays ago, comes back in and does a yeoman's chore on defense.
Well, actually, Charles West beat the medical report up. Obviously, he's not injured that badly, and certainly we're glad to see that. Again, with Shea Morantz having so much time to throw the ball, that's making it extremely difficult for the defense of Killeen.
The fingertips of Carroll, and that one had touchdown written all over it. What a strong arm Shea Morantz has. That one just a little bit wide of the mark.
Raymond Roscoe was in on a blitz that forced Shea Morantz to throw that ball just a little bit earlier. Otherwise, Damon Carroll had a step on Hinder, and because of the forced pass, it's incomplete, so we've got to credit
big play here for San Angelo. They have the ball on the Killeen 45-yard line. Man in motion. Morantz back to pass. Fires. Tip drill. Picked up by Charlie West. And West is going to bring the ball back up to about the 31-yard line. It was intended for Marcus Bibbs, but what a great reception by Charlie West on the tip drill, Ted.
It was a tip drill, and the San Angelo people were moaning and groaning for an early hit on Marcus Bibbs, but the ball was deflected in the air, and Killeen makes a very valuable interception, and they've got possession of the ball.
Once again, the Killeen Kangaroos dodge a bullet. They've been doing it all afternoon long. Now have the ball on their own 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Long count by Billy Spiller. And he's going to hand off right up the middle. And John Smith, or Chris Yuto, is right in the face of Deion Marion, throws him back for a tremendous loss.
Chris Yuto was standing there waiting. He is a very fine defensive lineman. He's on the very high on the university's recruiting list this year, and certainly he displayed why he's being so sought after as a defensive lineman.
Loss of 3, 2nd down and 13. Spiller back to pass. Looks. Fires. Complete. This time to James Hunter right across the middle. Hunter lining up on his right side. Crossed right over the middle. Spiller right on target. Stopped by Jason Sanders, but not before they pick up a first down. And they'll mark the football at the 44-yard line. Right on the money.
Coming into today's game, Potter has 13 receptions for 234 yards and 1 TD, and certainly made an excellent reception in the traffic for that good gain and a first down.
So the Kangaroos keep the drive alive. Long count by Billy Spiller. Hands the ball up the middle to Dion Merriam before Richard Barone brings him down. Pick up of perhaps 2 yards on the play. And these two teams are giving no quarter to each other. Tremendous football contest in case you just joined us. Killeen holding on to a 14-11 edge over the San Angelo Central Bobcats. Both teams came into the contest this afternoon at 10-2-1. Each one fighting for a berth in the championship game next week. Counter play picks up his signal, and they're going to smother and sack Billy Spiller. Mitchell Baker, 20 pounds, and the junior, a defensive tackle, did the trick. And that will knock them back for perhaps a yard loss.
Killeen had that play set up very good. If Baker doesn't make that stop, they had the flow going one direction, and Billy Spiller headed the other direction with all of his sprinter speed, but except for a good play by Michael Baker, that play was held with no gain.
Now, is that a true misdirection play? Third down. Direct snap. Spiller scrambling, running, looking for room. Doesn't get away. That time, he ran into half of the defensive unit for the Bobcats, led by Tony Argon, Michael Baker and company. And boy, what defenses the Bobcats are putting on.
Central came up with a very, very key defensive play then. As Killeen's coach, Bobby Etheridge, has said, Marcus Spiller is so excellent on ad-libbing, but in that case, just about the time he was starting to crank up on a new direction, Central was able to contain him.
Christopher Martinez's punt is high and well covered by Killeen, and it will be down on about the Bobcats 34-yard line. Correction, spotted on the 35. So the Bobcats take over with 4:44 left in this third quarter of play. They trail by only 3 points in this semifinal contest.
This is a key offensive possession for San Angelo. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left in this quarter. They've got a strong wind to their back. They're trailing 11-14, so it'll be key for them if they're going to make points, put points on the board, to do it with the wind at their back.
By Shea Morantz that time. He's going to fly pattern pass to Marcus Bibbs, incomplete down the right sideline. And that ball in the air went a good 50 yards.
You know, again, we keep talking about the wind. It's difficult both into the wind and with the wind. On that particular possession or play, as we've seen several times before, quarterback Shea Morantz overthrows his receiver. And it's oftentimes very easy to do when you've got a very strong wind to your back.
Fighting for an opportunity to play Sugar Dulles in the Class A Division I state championship game next week. Direct snap to Shea Morantz. He's going to keep it. Find some running room. Looking for the first down. He'll not get it, but he'll get very close. Nice run that time by the quarterback before he was stopped by Mallory Canaday of the Kangaroos. A third and short situation.
Both teams continue to mix the run and the pass very effectively. We have Killeen's defense right now having to defend both the run and the pass. Anytime Morantz, the quarterback, gets the ball, he's a threat both ways.
Shea Morantz on the keeper, and he's going to get the first play. Raymond stops him finally.
Another example of the strength of quarterback Shea Morantz. As we talked earlier, he's a big kid. He's got a powerful arm, but that case, Killeen had him pretty well on the initial contact stop, but just due to his power, he was able to make the first down and move the chains.
This football contest has seesawed back and forth all afternoon long, neither team being able to dominate the other one. Morantz back to pass, looks to his left, pump fakes once, in trouble as time is being chased out of the pocket, finally lets it go, and nearly complete to Damon Carroll, but we have a flag on the play.
Flag on the play, and we'll referee Gene Smith signal on that, but so often it's the offensive holding as a penalty that we'll await the call.
Well, that time quarterback Shea Morantz had all day, and finally they begin to exert pressure on him, flushed him out of the pocket, and he still got the pass off. He's just a really gifted athlete.
And as we see or saw, referee Gene Smith signaled the holding call, and that's going to be moving Central back.
And that, Ted, is one of those ouch penalties, because when they spot the ball, they'll move it all the way back down to perhaps, as we see the referees mark it, on about the 32-yard line, where it will be first down, 27 to go, with 3:28 left in the third quarter of play. Still a three-point ball game. Killeen holding on to a 14-11 lead. Man in motion for the Bobcats. Direct snap to Shea Morantz. Got all day. Passes, fires, complete to Damon Carroll. He'll be way short of the first down. Let's see. Are they going to mark it complete? They're conferring, and they say, yes, he did. He did catch the football. Damon Carroll so far has 17 touchdowns for the season, and you can see why on that reception.
17-yard pass completion, but that only brings them up to a 2nd and 10 situation.
Again, Ryan King in motion. Direct snap by Shea Morantz, going to throw deep down the right sideline. Got a man wide open, but is it incomplete? It's incomplete to Brian Butler.
You know, that pass goes down as an incompletion for quarterback Shea Morantz, but it certainly was a catchable pass in a situation where they badly needed that particular play. On the other hand, Killeen's defense is playing what perhaps may be the most important possession of this game, because they're trying to hold San Angelo out of the scoring column with a strong wind at San Angelo's back.
Morantz back, passes, fires, incomplete. Charlie West that time knocked it out of the hands of Marcus Phibbs. What a truly outstanding defensive effort by Charlie West.
Charlie West comes across the receiver very effectively. If he doesn't come across the way he does, that's very easy to interfere, get past interference. But as a result, he broke for the ball, batted it down, and is now forcing San Angelo into a punting situation.
Quick short snap, a fake on the punt, a pitch out, a flea flicker. He's got some running room down the right side. It's the blocker. He's going to score unless they can hit him off. Touchdown. Fell on his knee on the 1-yard line. Damon Carroll fell down. He had it made for touchdown. He falls on his knee.
San Angelo comes out with a very unusual situation. They had 3 upbacks. One of them was the quarterback, but they had Damon Carroll as the punter. The ball snapped to the quarterback, Shea Morantz, who executed just a perfect option play and sprung Carroll to the outside, and it was an unusual play where he is almost in the end zone, but he slips, and now they're lined up with at the 1-yard line, but at least they've got 1st and 10. Killeen, on the other hand, still has a chance to defend them.
A keeper that time by Shea Morantz, and it's going to go nowhere. You know, you should have known something was suspicious when Cody advanced. the normal punter for the Bobcats was not back deep to do the punting.
We've got to credit Killeen's defense with first and goal at the 1, and Morant's keeping on a quarterback keeper. They denied him, and I don't think San Angelo gained but maybe an inch. So this is where the excitement is right now.
Big play here. Damon Carroll out wide to the right. Morant's on a keeper, and again, the defense of Killeen, led by Luis Rivera, stops them cold. They're putting on quite a defensive stand themselves. You know, the Kangaroos have got to be a little disheartened. They stopped the Bobcats earlier, 4th down fake punt, suddenly puts them in big trouble.
We talk a lot about Killeen's offense because that certainly is the big attention getter, but one of the big reasons that Killeen is in this semifinal playoff game is their defense, and we're seeing a very fine example of a lot of talent and a lot of determination.
Morant swings to his right, passes, touchdown to Damon Carroll. Right over the middle as Shea Morant drilled it to Damon Carroll. And for the first time during this football contest, the Bobcats hold the lead.
Damon Carroll, I guess it was fitting that he caught that pass for the touchdown since he had made such a fine run to set it up, but that gives him his 18th touchdown of the year.
That fake punt covered 51 yards. The kick is up, and it's no good by Shea Morant. Well, that's interesting because now the Bobcats lead 17-14 with 53 seconds left in the third period of play. We'll be back. If you're weak-hearted, Bobcat Stadium in San Angelo, Texas is not the place to be. We have a barn burner as Shea Morant gets ready to kick off. Dion Marion will take the kickoff for Killeen. He's running up his left sidelines and gets a pretty good return before they bring him down at about his own 25-yard line.
That was a crucial extra point miss because that margin gives the Bobcats only a 3-point lead. Had they made the extra point, that would force Killeen to have to make a touchdown. However, when we look at the reality of this season, Killeen has not made a field goal the entire season. So the fact that San Angelo missed that extra point really is fairly significant because I think Killeen is either going to score a touchdown or not score one, and that's irrelevant at 1 point.
Billy Spiller, hands off, up the middle on a draw play to Dion Marion. And Marion finds the going tough as he makes short yardage, and he's stopped and stacked up in the middle there by John Baker, Chris Yusso, John Smith, and Mitchell Baker. There seems to be official timeout, and while there is, let's pause for this. Billy Spiller, quick pass out to the right to Charles West, and he fights for yardage up near the first down marker. Stopped by Jason Sanders. The third quarter, and my oh my, what an exciting football contest we have here in San Angelo, Texas. The San Angelo Central Bobcats leading 17-14.
The wind continues to be a significant factor. Killeen currently is going into the wind, but now at the end of this third quarter, they'll be having the wind to their back as they're trying to get back on the scoreboard.
At the end of the third quarter, the San Angelo Bobcats leading 17-14. We'll be back for the final action right after this. Welcome back to Bobcat Stadium. Cliff Brown and Ted Coy here as we begin this fourth and final quarter of play. San Angelo Central leading 17-14 in this really close football contest in which San Angelo holds a one-creation lead, 5-4, and a 3-point lead on the scoreboard. Killeen with the ball on their own 37-yard line. 1st and 10. Spiller, quick pass to the right to Charles West. Charles West running down the right sideline, bounced out of bounds and picks up a first down before Chris Yusso knocks him out.
Again, Killeen's speed is an incredible asset to their offense and defense. And again, we see Charles West taking that short flat pass, well covered, well defended by Central. The difference, though, between a small to no gain and a first down is that burst of speed, but Charles West is able to turn on after he catches the ball.
First and 10 for the Killeen Kangaroos, almost at midfield. Spiller. Fumble on the snap, picks it up. Going to be sacked, trapped. John Smith leading the avalanche of Bobcats. Spiller just never got to snap completely. Stumbled backwards and then got swarmed.
Billy Spiller started out a little bit unsteady, but that's certainly no deterrent. He's capable of bouncing around, except when he bounced into the hands of 265-pound John Smith. There just wasn't much place to go once Big John wrapped him up. You know, we might point out, Killeen is at this stage, but in all of their playoff games, they have had to score in the fourth quarter to win the game, and they've been able to do that in each playoff game.
Billy Spiller back to pass. Pump fakes once, looks for a man, got one open wide, right side, and overthrows. Good, but good defensive coverage that time by the Bobcats secondary, led by Chris Cloninger.
We do have an injured player on that play, and is defending that pass. Stephen Roloff looked like he came down on the outside of his foot, possibly turning his ankle, but the trainers are helping him off. He is limping, but able to come off on his own. We'll try to get a medical update.
Steve Roloff, the free safety for the Bobcats. It's been just as close as the score indicates. A 3-point margin now. San Angelo the lead for the first time in this football contest. Killeen, Billy Spiller taking a long count, drops back straight to pass, getting a rush, throws right up the middle to Dion Marion. Marion has some running room down the right sideline. What a nice run by Dion. Took the pass. Ben Montgomery knocks him out of bounds.
If there's a classic Killeen offensive play, I think that would be it. Billy Spiller was all but sacked on that play. He's able to get the ball off to Dion, who was almost tackled at or near the line of scrimmage, and instead you put it all together, put them on the field, and it's a first down and a big gain.
First and 10 for the Killeen Kangaroos. The ball all the way down now to the Bobcat 35-yard line. A big rush this time again on Spiller. He's going to pass, hits it, complete. This time to Charles West on the left line. The rollout works again, and they are beginning to get into deep territory now of San Angelo.
Killeen, again, is being very effective with their short passes. They are able to take the short pass, turn it into the big gain. So we're going to, again, have to see San Angelo the entire field in defending Killeen.
10:09 left in this football contest. The winner goes to the state championship finals to face Sugar Land Dulles, who earlier won today over Converse Judson 27-26. Spiller on a keeper, weaves and bobs through the middle. He's still on his feet, and he drives all the way down the 15-yard line. He's tackled, and we have a flag on the play. Brought down by Mitchell Baker, the 220-pound defensive tackle for the San Angelo Bobcats.
Again, we'll await, or as we get the official Smith face mask penalty, that's going to be moving Killeen deep into San Angelo's territory.
We also have an entry on the play as the officials continue to mark off the penalty. Billy Spiller, the injured Killeen. That's going to be bad news for Coach Bobby Etheridge, his star quarterback, going out at least temporarily. The penalty will bring the ball all the way down to the 8-yard line of San Angelo.
Avery Wright is in at quarterback for Billy Spiller.
Adrian Wright hands off up the middle to Dion Marion. Dion Marion just threw part of the defensive line all the way down to the 2-yard line before he stopped by Ben Montgomery and Chris Yusso. This football contest has more ups and downs than a roller coaster, and clearly even without Billy Spiller, the Kangaroos are knocking on the door. First and goal. The ball on the 3. Handoff to Dion Marion. He's fighting. He gets down to the 1-yard line before they push him back. Chris Yusso, the 240-pound senior, pushes him back, but his forward progress will be marked at the 1-yard line.
In a very similar situation, we saw Killeen's defense putting up a tremendous goal line stand. Now we're seeing San Angelo Central putting up a very fine defensive performance.
And Billy Spiller, who went out 2 plays ago with an injury, is now back in at quarterback. That's got to be good news for Killeen Kangaroo fans. 1 yard to go for a touchdown. Spiller hands off. Dion Marion. Touchdown, Killeen. Dion Marion crashes through from 1 yard out. So the Killeen Kangaroos retake the lead with 8:18 left in this football contest. This will be interesting on the extra point play, whether Killeen goes for 1 or 2 points. It would appear that they will just try for the 1 extra point, with Joe Kersey doing the honors. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it's good. So with 8:18 left in this contest, the Killeen Kangaroos have now taken the lead once more as they take a 21-17 advantage over the San Angelo Bobcats. More exciting football from San Angelo's Bobcat Stadium. Joe Kersey kicks off. Damon Carroll tries to retrieve it, but it's in and out of the end zone. What a tremendous kickoff by Joe Kersey of the Killeen Kangaroos. And the Bobcats will start from their own 20-yard line following that impressive touchdown drive by the Killeen Kangaroos to retake the lead. And this 4 point may be critical at this juncture in this football contest. The clock is not yet a factor, but it should be noted that Sean Marin and company must fight the wind in order to get into the end zone. Moran's back to pass, as all day, fires, complete to Ryan King. Ryan King brought down at the 25-yard line by Elton Watson of Killeen.
Killeen has been very successful defending the long pass, and it'll be interesting to see going into the wind if San Angelo and Shea Morantz are going to elect to take the shorter type passes like we just saw them complete.
The Bobcats and the Kangaroos have been able to march up and down this football field all afternoon long. Moran's back to pass again, a flush from the pocket. He's going to run. He has some running room, and this time they're going to finally bring him down and trap him. Mallory Kennedy in on the tackle first, followed by Luis Rivera. They flushed him from the pocket. Marked the ball on the 23-yard line, where it is a 3rd and 7 situation. Killeen holding on to a 21-17 lead, and it's a very precarious one at that. Damon Carroll out deep to the left. He's looking to pass to Carroll. It's going to be fired complete. He gets away from one man. He's running down the left sideline, and is finally brought down, but not before he makes excellent yardage. Avery Wright in on the tackle. That'll pick up a big first down for the Bobcats.
Raymond Roscoe actually ought to be credited on that because if he doesn't come in to make that stop, Damon Carroll is off and running for big yardage.
We have an official timeout on the field, and I would suspect at this point they are not yet ready to call both coaches to the center of the field and talk about penetrations because they quickly start to play again. Direct snap to Sean Moran. He's going to keep it. He sprints out to his right, and just before he can get uncorked, Raymond Roscoe pulls him down by the shoestrings.
Again, we've got to credit Raymond Roscoe. He is playing a fine game on defense, and he's made 2 consecutive tackles that prevented Central from getting big yardage.
Second and long from their own 45-yard line. Shea Moran has Damon Carroll out wide to the left. He drops back, looks to his right, pumps fakes once, in trouble, fumbles the football. Is he going to... Moran that time fumbled the football because he got hit solidly and hard by number 64, Mallory Kennedy of Killeen. And that will drop them all the way back to their own 35-yard line. Big defensive play that time by Killeen to bring up a 3rd 13 situation for the Bobcats.
This is a critical series now for Central from the standpoint they've got to get on the scoreboard from the defense of Killeen, because if they can hold Central on this series, then definitely things are going their way.
Man in motion, direct snap to Shea Moran. Pass is right over the middle, complete, man wide open, Damon Carroll, the dangerous receiver, who then skirts around to the right and picks up a big first down.
Very heads-up play on the part of Damon Carroll, because on that long yardage situation, he very alertly got enough, ran his pass route to make sure he had the first down, so that just the mere completion of the pass would give them the first down and moving the chains.
If anything has hurt the Killeen Kangaroos, it's been those critical 3rd down plays by the Bobcats for yardage. The ball is now on the 40, make it the 43-yard line of Killeen. Shea Moran back to pass, throws it right down the right sideline on a fly pattern, incomplete to Charles Vogel.
And Billy Spiller, we've got to credit, how many times have we called his name, but he makes an incredible saving breakup on that. That pass was well thrown, excellent pass route, but Billy Spiller recovered soon enough to break the pass play up.
We talk a lot about the multiple talent of Shea Moran. You also got to give credit to Billy Spiller. He's been all over the football field offensively and defensively too tonight. Direct snap. It's going to be a keeper from the word go by Shea Moran, who drives down near the first down marker. He'll be short. And the Bobcats come storming back. And now indeed they're going to have an official timeout down on the field, so we'll take one too. We'll be back.
You can charge all your groceries, rent a video, quick meal, tank of gas, and you're ready to roll.
If you're serving in the military, you've been approved. The Yes Card's free and it's easy to use.
Say, charge it to my Yes Card. Charge it to my Maplehurst Yes Card. You've got instant credit, no extra charge. Say, charge it to my Maplehurst Yes Card. Say yes to the Maplehurst Yes Card. Say yes.
A portion of this telecast is made possible by a grant from your Killeen Walmart and their associates. Walmart supports the Killeen ISD, their programs and activities. Walmart is proud to participate in this public school endeavor. At the Killeen Walmart, our people make the difference.
Truckloads of 1992 model Fords and Subarus have already arrived, plus more are on the way as Centralplex Ford brings you the new lineup for 1992. Many already have cash rebates directly to you. Plus, don't forget our promise. We'll beat any Ford dealer in Texas or give you the difference in cold, hard cash. The 92s may be different, but our promise hasn't changed. Centralplex Ford. We're at W.S. Young and Rancier, Killeen.
We bend over backwards for you, Centralplex Ford and Subaru.
Sugarland Dulles in the state championship game, it may be a new schoolboy record. We're trying to research that to find out if a third-place team has ever gone this far in the playoffs. And Billy Spiller just kneels down on one knee. Bobcats call timeout, and I'm not sure whether that's their last timeout or not. Let us pause. We'll be back after this. We're back with 1 minute left in the semifinal contest, and if the Killeen Kangaroos can hang on to the football, they may have wrapped up a 21-17 victory. Again, Billy Spiller takes a snap and downs the football. As the clock rolls down, what an exciting matchup we've had this afternoon. Two outstanding championship quality teams. They moved the football against each other well all afternoon long, and neither team could gain dominance over the other.
You know, Killeen is a remarkable team. They finished third in their district. Their first playoff game is tied 14-14 with Johnston. They win on penetration. Their second game against Jersey Village, they win by 1 point, 20-19. Their third game they played last week in a hard-fought 20-16 win, and now today we see them emerging with a 21-17 win and going to the state finals.
As the clock rolls down toward 000, that's going to be the story here at San Angelo Bobcat Stadium. That's it, the final. The Killeen Kangaroos, finishing third place in their district, will now play for the Division I Class 5A state championship game as they have defeated the San Angelo Central Bobcats 21-17. We'll be back to wrap it all up right after this message.
Is now about to play for a state championship, Division I 5A. This is a dream come true.
It's unbelievable. You know, I'm like all coaches. I've been waiting 46 years for something like this to happen. You know, we were 0-2 in district. And, you know, how bleak did our chances look to be going to the state championship 9 weeks ago? It looked almost impossible. This is a dream come true. This is a dream team.
Now, this team does not get flustered when they get behind. They faced an outstanding San Angelo Central team and the premier passer in the state, yet your team matched them play for play.
Yeah, they did. Moritz, I think, is a great quarterback. He's one of those guys that I feel like could be in the NFL 4 or 5 years. He's the key, you know, in stopping him. We didn't stop him, but we slowed him down at times, but he's a great quarterback.
Ted, you want to ask your question?
Coach, at one point you're 0-2 in the district. You're going to the state playoff. What's the big ingredient?
Well, I'll tell you what, we weren't real good in the secondary. We took Spiller and Charles West and put them on defense. They'd been going one way. We'd been platooning. So we started playing them both ways, and we hadn't lost since.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck next week.
Thanks, Ted.
Truckloads of 1992 model Fords and
Stands begin to empty out at Bobcat Stadium here in San Angelo. They certainly got their money's worth this afternoon. The semifinal championship game won by Killeen over San Angelo Central. What an exciting 4 quarters we had. It doesn't get any better than this.
You know, Killeen can be very, very proud of this football team. They have, as the old saying goes, they bend but don't break. Every one of their playoff games were very close. Killeen has had to score in the 4th quarter to win it, and certainly tonight in this victory, they're going to the state playoff game next week for the state championship game, and I know this team, Coach Bobby Etheridge, and all of the community can be very proud of the Kangaroos.
An exciting championship matchup next week as the Sugarland Dulles team takes on these Killeen Kangaroos for the 5A Division I championship. What an exciting contest we've had here in San Angelo today. On behalf of Ted Coy and all the Water Community Television, it's been a pleasure to bring you this telecast. So long, everybody.